Hey, there we are right there. CGA Sports back up in here on an early morning Monday, Monday, tripping Saturday, easy like Saturday morning. We're back in here for our NFL preview. I've been doing here for the last few weeks, and we got NFL preview big weekend for about 4 teams. Everybody else, the games are pretty much lethargic, but we'll give you some betting odds if you're interested in that. Welcome over to the CGA Got Game channel. We were doing the NFL preview on CGA Sports, but unfortunately got demonetized after about a week and a half of monetization, and I probably made $28. All right. But anyway, a lot of teams the season's over for. All right. A lot of teams the season's over for. Yeah. And, a couple teams can be enthusiastic. And as you can see, the interest in this topic is waning because people's seasons are done. All right. People are getting ready for the draft. Teams are tanking. All right. People have no shot. People are trading their best players for small third round draft picks. But you do have a couple of teams here that are ready for the playoffs. And if your team is getting ready for the playoffs or fired their head coach, it gives you new life for the NFL season. All right, the NFL season. And of course, it is now November. We're headed into fall. Turkey Day coming up here in T-minus 20 days, 19 days. All right. And yeah, man, that's what it is today. So do me a favor, man. Let's lock in. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. All right. What do we got here? Just a review of what happened this past week for NFL, the not for long league. That's what they used to call it. Because if you didn't do well, you weren't in the league. Not for long. All right. Yeah. Chase Young got traded for $3.85, third round picks. All right. I guess San Francisco wants to win. San Francisco's getting desperate, but we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about the luckiest team in the NFL right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, how ugly can you win games? Pittsburgh probably has won 4 of their 5 games in an ugly fashion. All right, the fortunate team to have a schedule like theirs. They don't have a quarterback that can move the ball down the field. They're playing comeback ball. They're just trying to prevent teams from beating them. The defense is getting overworked. I don't know how you're sitting at 5-3, okay? But they're sitting at 5-3 playing some of the ugliest football. I mean, some of the worst football since probably way back in the day, the 1920s. All right, I don't know how you win 5-3, but it is what it is. And they won this Thursday, and they covered, I believe. I think they covered by 1 point. So I think the over-under was, the over-under was 37, and the spread, I think they were a 3-point favorite. So they covered on both. So if you were betting, you won. But winning games, only scoring 20 points, I don't understand. All right. So anyway, man, shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers for the win. And the Titans are done. They're all but done. I don't even know what they're going to do here the rest of the season. All right, let's get to some more ugly football here. Minnesota Vikings, their season is done. They just picked up a quarterback that we might be able to discuss. I'm not sure if it's going to matter for them. Their season is pretty much done. You cannot go in with the quarterback that they have and then with Kirk Cousins out for the season with an Achilles. Then the Atlanta Falcons, I don't know what they're going to do. They had Ritter in there. I don't know if they benched him in the last game. But it's not looking good for the Falcons right now. I don't know who's going to win this game. It's a toss-up. Let me see what Vegas has on this game in terms of the odds, because this is a toss-up. Both teams headed in the wrong direction. Falcons right now a 3.5-point favorite, and points are at a premium. Who's going to score any points in this game? Who's going to score any points? And so Heineke's one of my favorite quarterbacks, especially as a backup. I think they should unleash the Heineke. All right, they should unleash the Heineke. I think he did well in Washington. He reminds me of a young Brett Favre. He's a little erratic, but he must have got beat out for the job in training camp. Heineke's a good player. Unleash the Heineke. All right, let's have a Heineke this morning. A Heineken. He's starting this morning. All right, yeah. I mean, you guys tried to sell me Desmond Ritter earlier in the season. You guys tried to sell me. Oh, he's the guy. All right, he's the guy, because I didn't even know who the quarterback was. And then when I heard Heineke was over there, I was like, why not start him? Start him. He's a good quarterback. He did good in Washington. All right, as a backup. And he came in and played some games. He's a good little gunslinger. All right, he's starting the game. That means the STI Dirty Birds, they're probably going to lose. I got Atlanta in this game. All right, I got Atlanta in this game because Minnesota's heading nowhere. And you don't have your leading receiver. You don't have your leading quarterback. I think it's a wrap for the Minnesota Vikings the rest of the year. All right, STI Birds for the win. Let's go to another game right here. The Mike Ditka Bowl. This is the Mike Ditka Bowl. All right, two teams formerly coached by Mike Ditka. The Bears, oh, man, they got exposed. You know, they did do the Raiders dirty with that little check down Charlie, second Division II quarterback. But then they got exposed by the San Diego Superchargers. So now the Bears are trying to find a way, because they can't challenge anyone downfield. They can move the ball, but not against a good defense, not a consistent one. In New Orleans, it's back to their winning ways. So shout out to the Saints. Derek Carr, still healthy, did well, managing the game. They're at home versus the Gummy Bears. Give me the New Orleans Saints with the win. Let's check what Vegas thinks about this one. New Orleans, 8.5-point favorite. I don't think Chicago's going to move the ball down the field. Over under at 41. Derek Carr's good to score 35 points for sure with this offense. That means the Gummy Bears got to be held under a touchdown. Could be a possibility. And we got the Gummy Bears taking a loss. All right. The Gummy Bears going to take a loss. I'm taking the Saints on this one. Heavy favorite. And I think the Bears defense is not going to be ready to go for Derek Carr. We're going to get hey, man, New Orleans is probably going to start moving in a positive direction to be in my prediction of being in at least a playoff team. Playoffs. All right, let's get to the next one here. This next game. A lot of these games don't matter. I guess in the win-loss column, it matters. There's no division rivalry here. There's only two big games this week. This is the point of the season where you kind of get lulled to sleep. The NBA kicks in. You don't have any of these. These are games, just interdivision games or interconference games. Both of these, this is going to be a stinker right here. All right, Green Bay's probably getting a little cold up there. The LA Rams are going in the opposite direction that they should have been going. They were getting some lucky wins. The Green Bay Packers are looking god-awful. All right, absolutely atrocious. But the Packers come in as a favorite, particularly probably because this is a game not in Los Angeles. But this is a snoozer. Over under 38.5. This is, man almighty. I mean, 38.5. Look at some of these NFL score over-unders, man. So I look at Green Bay as a little bit of a favorite here because I don't have any confidence in the LA Lambs. But I don't have any confidence in Jordan Love either. This game will be lucky to put up 21 points total. I mean, in fact, did Green Bay even score a touchdown in the last game? All right, it's going to be an ugly one. Is Stafford hurt? If Matt Stafford's hurt, then that would explain why. I think he is hurt. I think he hurt his finger or his thumb on the opposite hand. I think it's his non-throwing hand, if I'm not mistaken. And so if Matt Stafford is out or questionable, this should be a steamroller for the Pack. Let me take a look because their backup quarterback. Let me see who the Rams are starting at quarterback. Let's see who they're starting. Brett Rippon is who they're starting. And Brett Rippon is the nephew of Mark Rippon. If you're an old head like me, you remember Mark Rippon for the Redskins, I believe. And Brett Rippon is his nephew. He's going to be ripping and roaring, debuting in Green Bay. All right, debuting in Green Bay. What happened to Stetson Bennett? He was doing the ball. He was throwing the ball all over the place in the preseason. Actually, I went to a game, Rams and Raiders in the preseason, I believe, and Stetson Bennett played the entire game. All right, he ain't getting no run. All right, he ain't getting no run, I suppose. I got Packers here, man, because the Rams, you don't want your backup quarterback starting anytime soon. So sad state of the NFL, man. Quarterbacks, once your starting quarterbacks go down, it's pretty much a wrap the rest of the season. It's a wrap. All right. All right, what do we got next coming up? Oh, another game, Snoozer Bowl. I mean, how many of these games? This is a miserable game right here. Who cares about this game? I mean, who cares about some of these games here? The Commanders of Washington, formerly the Washington Redskins, versus the New England Patriots. Both of these teams going nowhere. The defense got blown up over there, if I can say that on YouTube. All right, with Chase Young being desperately sent over to the 49ers. Washington's pretty much on a fire sale at this particular point. I think they've packed it in. Okay, they packed it in. The Patriots are going nowhere. They're a somewhat competitive team, but both of these teams are headed nowheresville. I'm pretty sure the stadiums are going to be empty. Ticket prices are going to be out here. If you haven't been to a game, because tickets are expensive, they're probably going to be on dirt cheap right here. Yeah, this is the Politic Bowl. I got Patriots favored by 2.5. That's not a betting man's chance. You also have over under 40 points. Washington might not even score a touchdown in this game. Who cares about this game? Good Lord have mercy. All right. New England Patriots is probably, yeah, I'm taking Patriots here. I've seen Washington play a couple times. They are very unimpressive. But I have seen New England play, and they're not as bad as their record. They're not as they're bad. All right. Some of you guys got Washington with the win. I'm going New England. I'm going New England on this one. Washington can't score points. All right. Let me see what the Washington Redskins, let's see what their point totals are here in the last couple of weeks. All right, they did score a lot. Okay, they did score a lot against the Eagles, but that's a rivalry game. You got to throw that out. Here you got 7 here against the Giants. I mean, they could not move the ball against the Giants. You got 20 here. Anything under 21 is no good. All right, you got 24 here. All right, 31. All right, 3 here. Inconsistent. 35 here. 20 there. All right, yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I think they scored all their points last week, 31. They're not scoring. What are the New England Patriots doing? They can't move the ball either. Let's put up the Pat scores. All right, Pat's right there, 30, 29, 17, 17 against the lowly Raiders, 0 shutout at home, 3, 15. Oh, man, Patriots can't move the ball at all. What is the over-under in this one, 40.5? I don't know, man. I got New England still. If Pats lose, Bill might be done. Oh, I don't think they'll fire him in the midseason, but I think he's pretty much done. Hey, rumor has it that the Washington Redskins are trying to bring in Bill Belichick next year. Did you guys hear that rumor? Bill Belichick to Washington? Yeah, let me see here. That definitely is a rumor coming out here. And it says right here, a little bit of chatter, but a little bit of scuttlebutt, as they say. The Washington Redskins might be linked to the wait a minute. You guys can't see it. Give me a second here. Let me share it on this screen. So this is a game that if Bill Belichick wins, he might be the coach next year. There's the rumor right there. NFL chatter links Patriots Bill Belichick to the Commanders following trade deadline dealings. The Commanders made the biggest moves in the NFL trading line. So they're looking at, he's not going to be in New England next year. They're ready to move on. And yet New England now might bring in Josh McDaniels, at least as an offensive coordinator, right? At least as an offensive coordinator. Josh McDaniels probably just could not wait to get over there with the Patriots job. All right. Him being fired by the Raiders probably doesn't help him, because if he would have finished this season with the Raiders, he probably would have moved over to the Patriots. But now he got fired, so that's probably not going to happen. All right. Well, he's got to stay coaching here for the next couple of weeks. Next couple of years. He's got to stay coaching for the next couple of years, because he's trying to get to the all-time winningest coaches, but I don't think he gets there. Unfortunately, sadly enough, he hasn't have any team to get him to the all-time coaching leaders. Hold on for a second. All-time NFL coaching wins. He just doesn't have enough team left. Yeah, he's gonna fall short. He's gonna fall short. He needs 28 win. Is this updated? I don't think this is updated. No, this is updated, I believe. Let me share it on the screen here. Yeah, he doesn't have Tom Brady left. Like if he had Tom Brady a couple more years, there it is right there. Andy Reid's nipping at his heels, but look, he's got to get past George out. That's 18 dubs to get to number 2. I don't know, man. He don't have enough if he has a decent team, that's 2 years. But if you have a terrible team that's going to get 7 wins, that's 3 years to get here. And then you need 28 wins here, 28 wins divided by 9. You know what I mean? You're looking at maybe 3 years, 3.5 years. He needs 3 years of a 9-win team. And he would need 2 years at an 11-win team to even sniff these records. He can't even get, what is their record? 2-6? Yeah, he ain't gonna make it. He ain't gonna make it. He would need 5 years at this point. Yeah, at 2-6, and if he goes to Washington, he would need a lot more years. He would need 5 more years, and I don't see it happening. All right, what do we got next? We got the next game here that really, I guess, does matter. I guess if you're looking at playoff positioning, the Ravens and the Seahawks are hot, and I bet against the Seahawks all the time. I bet against them all the time. Like, in my mind, I bet against them. I'm like, nah, I don't think this team has it. But they got something special brewing over there with Geno Smith, and he seems to not want to quit. You got to give Pete Carroll a big ups for the team with the job he's doing over there. The Baltimore Ravens, another team that is hot. They've been dangerous the last couple of weeks. They've been kicking ass and taking names. So the Ravens are favored by 5.5 points here, mainly because they're probably a home team and they got a lot of momentum. And I'm going to bet against the Seahawks again. All right. I'm going to bet against the Seahawks again. And every time I bet against them, I lose. So this is good news for the Seattle Seahawks fans. I'm going Baltimore Ravens here with a win, a convincing win. But the problem is every time I do that, the Seahawks win. This could be an upset. I'm going Ravens with conventional wisdom. All right, but something tells me the Seahawks could come out here and do something and then make people put some respect on their name. They're quietly doing well. They're quietly doing well. All right. Yeah, he said Coach ain't learning. I know, man. There's some teams I bet against every week. There's some teams I'm like, nah. There's another team that I bet against every week, and they end up making a fool out of me. But the Seahawks is one of these teams. I'm gonna go Ravens, but with this caveat. All right. The Seahawks are a not so big underdog. They're playing very well. They're playing a lot of good football over there. All right. Sometimes I got to learn. Ravens going to blow out? Oh, boy. We got blowout time for the Ravens. All right. Tampa Bay, the Yucks, they're going another team going the other way. I think they have 3 or 4 straight losses. I want to say 3 straight losses for sure. And they're floundering. A lot of people tried to sell me this Bucks team, and I said, no, the best team in that division is the New Orleans Saints. Now, it's kind of panning out to that point. So if Tampa Bay loses, New Orleans wins, you got a quarterback controversy in Atlanta, the Panthers, and I think the Saints are still the best team in the league in that division. And the Houston Texans, very inconsistent team. They're playing like your girlfriend over here. And since we're looking at this, Texans did win 2 in a row. They just lost 1. Now they're going to come back and they're going to get a dub, all right, because they lost last week. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just don't have it. They're just not a good enough team complete. They're not complete enough to be able to make a run here. But Baker Mayfield is one of these guys. He's just hot and cold. He's going to be able to extend plays, but he's hot and super cold right here. So I bet against the Texans 3 times this season, and I lost all of them. This is probably the first time this year I'm going to say the Texans win, and they're probably going to lose if I do that. So this is what happens here. I got Houston as who's the dog here? Houston is the favorite at home, 3 points. That doesn't mean much, but I got Houston coming out having a great performance. Tampa Bay not performing well on the road. All right, who we got? Who you got? You got the Bucks. Somebody said, which quarterback makes the least mistakes? Well, the problem is, I don't know, man. I think you could say like a Jared Goff, but do they win though? Or do they win? Mistakes will make you lose, but playing conventional and conservative doesn't make you win. Jared Goff this season doesn't make a lot of mistakes comparative to the rest of the NFL right now. And then you can even say Jalen Hurts. Patrick Mahomes makes some mistakes here and there. He makes some mistakes, but it doesn't really shoot them in the foot. But these are the most consistent quarterbacks that probably don't make too many mistakes or throw many bad picks, and all of that. All right. Who do we got next up here on the schedule? We got Houston winning. Oh, these games are absolutely terrible. Okay. Vaughn was saying this is a game of which quarterback makes the least mistakes. All right, there you go. Thanks for clearing that up. Yeah, that definitely is it. Another game that is going to be, listen, the Cardinals are not trying to win at all. They just shipped another quarterback over to the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, you're shipping quarterbacks out and you're trying to do what? I mean, this is Cleveland Browns are going to win. All right, let's just say this. The Browns are going to win this game. Now, are they going to cover? All right, that's what the point is here. Or is Arizona going to try to cover but lose? Browns favored by 11.5 points. All right. All right. Listen, the thing is, Arizona did not cover they end up coming out like gangbusters towards the end and almost won a game last week, if I'm not mistaken. Who were they playing? Yeah, the Ravens. Yeah. They lost by a touchdown. I'm sure that the Ravens did not cover. They lost by a touchdown. So this is where your problem is with the Cardinals. Yeah, they're going to tank, but they might not even win you a bet. You can actually just take the money line on this one. But if you take the points, right, 11.5, I don't think Brown. I think the Cardinals are going to make sure they cover that right there. All right, it's crazy. Cardinals with the win. Oh my. What's the over-under on this game, just for people who wanted to know? Under 38.5 points. Cleveland really doesn't technically score a lot of points, although I think in the previous game they wanted to come out and play. Let me see something real quick. Let me see here. Yeah, they scored. Yeah, and they took it. They took the Seahawks down to the wire. Look at these two games here. They want to score points, but the previous games they weren't scoring a lot of points, I suppose. I got the Browns with the wins here. The Browns should win this game. Listen, the Cardinals do not want to win. All right. The Cardinals do not want to win. The problem is what's going to happen on the scoreboard. If I'm not mistaken, the Cardinals just traded their quarterback to the Minnesota Vikings. Let me see here. Cardinals QB. Was he the second string QB? Minnesota. I think he was the second string QB. All right, here we go. Yeah, the Vikings trade Josh. Wait a minute, hold for a second. Did I get that wrong, or is that opposite? Yeah, Josh Dobbs goes to the Minnesota Vikings. So listen, I don't think the Cardinals are trying to win. They're trading quarterbacks. I mean, quarterbacks are at a premium over there. Like, you need quarterbacks in Arizona. You're just going to trade over a quarterback over to Minnesota? Okay. Interesting. I don't think they're trying to play. So anyway, yeah, this season's pretty much over. So I'm going Cleveland with the win. I don't see them covering 11.5. But what about the over-under? Possibly. Let me see here. That's going to be tight, over and under, man. Arizona, it's going to be crazy. Kyler, would you play Kyler Murray coming back? He's ready to come back. I wouldn't play him, though. I would not play Kyler. First of all, I'm trying to get the number 1 draft pick. So that's reason number 1 to not trade Kyler. Number 2, you don't want to hurt him because you're going to trade him. All right, here we go right here. You're going to trade him. I'm not putting that guy on the field. I'm going to just like sit down for the rest of the season. Anyway. But yeah, we're trying to get, the Cardinals are trying to get something going here in the NFL draft. Another game nobody cares about here, the Indianapolis Colts versus the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers get off the schneid, all right, last week, as you would say in Chris Berman verbiage. The Carolina Panthers unpredictably win. Okay, Bryce Young looks good. He looked good in that game. You have the Colts going backwards. All right, Minshew is not the answer. You have your rookie quarterback out. I don't know what could happen in this game. I don't know what happened. Can the Panthers turn it on here at the end of the season? They don't want the number 1 draft pick, although if they got it, I'm pretty sure they could trade it away. So you have to figure out what people want to do here. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Carolina Panthers draft pick goes to the Chicago Bears, if I'm not mistaken. I think Carolina's shipped off a lot of their draft picks. So it doesn't do them well to tank. And I think I got that right. So Carolina's top draft pick goes to the Bears. I might have it wrong. Maybe it goes to the Cardinals. Panthers. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm trying to see if somebody has it. Let me see let me pull it up here just so I get it right. So this gives a motivation incentive to win. All right. Yeah, that's right. Carolina's draft pick 2024. Because I think it says right here. Oh, yeah, for the CMC trade. So the Panthers acquired 5th round pick. All right, maybe I got it right. I got it wrong. All right, somebody got it right here. First pick. Anyway, I can't get the exact details on it, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, Carolina doesn't get, if they get the Bears have the Carolina pick. All right, there you go right there. So there you go. And by the way, I think they play next week, the Bears and the Panthers. The Bears and the Panthers play the following week. So this would be interesting. This tells me I think Carolina has all the incentive to win. This is basically what I'm saying. Yep, there it is. Panthers and Bears, November 9th. Right here. So, yeah, this is Carolina wants to win this game. This is the point I'm making here. All right. The point I'm making is Carolina wants to win. All right, but yeah, he says these matchups are not a must-see. No, these last 3 weeks in the NFL matchups are absolutely atrocious. All right, it's absolutely. Sean Christopher says, would you accept Kyler Murray in a trade to the Raiders? And what would you give up to get him? Go Cowboys, though. He says, we're beating Philly this weekend. Not so fast. I think I would not want Kyler Murray. All right. Although he is kind of one of these players that is actually can do well with a good team. I do not want Kyler Murray. All right. So if we can figure out how to get another quarterback, I would be fine. And here's the deal. AOC should be a good, decent quarterback for us. I'd be willing to double down and get some games out of AOC. We call him AOC over there. But O'Connell, get about 2 years out of O'Connell and maybe have a decent backup. Maybe, because I think the best way to win in the NFL right now is with the quarterback. If you have a franchise, is with a quarterback that's underpaid. I need an underpaid quarterback. So that's what I'm saying on that one. So yeah, I want to get as much out of AOC as opposed to putting money in a quarterback and then you can't pull the rest of the team together. I think the Raiders need to not go after Kyler Murray. All right, what do we got here? Nothing happening here. I got Carolina. All right, let me see what the spread says here. Who's the favorite? The Bears are favored by 1.5. Wait a minute. That's next week's game. The Bears and the Cardinals. The Bears and the Panthers. Where's this game? The Colts are the favorite. I mean, that's not a surprise. Carolina's got a 1 win. All right, let's get to this game right here. The debut of Antonio Pierce as the Raiders. The debut of the Antonio Pierce, former New York Giants, by the way. Former New York Giant Antonio Pierce making his season debut as the head coach, the interim head coach as the Raiders. He probably won't be the head coach next year. Look for Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh quite possibly might be the Raiders head coach next year because he's getting fired at Michigan. So things might get shaken up here. And yeah, there's irony everywhere. This is going to be an ugly game. All right. This is going to be an ugly game. It's going to be ugly, but the Raiders are going to probably get a win here. All right. You must get a win, and they're going to be hella excited. All right. He's going to be hella excited. Everybody's going to be excited, enthusiastic. And of course, timing wise, this is the best time to get your coach fired because you got the Giants and the Jets coming in. And depending on how Antonio Pierce does in this game and the rest of the season, it will determine if they're going to keep him. I would be shocked if they keep him, but it's the Raiders. Raiders typically go for coaches like this. And it was actually abnormal for them to go for a coach like Josh McDaniels. They normally give a minority guy, a young guy. Raiders typically make coaching statements like this. But Jimmy G is done with the Raiders for all intents and purposes. The Raiders will have a coaching opening. Jim Harbaugh will be available. And it could be possible that Harbaugh comes to the Raiders next year. I mean, they might roll out the red carpet and make a move like that. So just look out. And you heard it here first. New York is terrible, by the way. The New York Giants are terrible. They are on their backup quarterback. Did they pick up another quarterback? Tyrod Taylor had a rib. Daniel Jones is back, though. I think Daniel Jones is coming back, if I'm not mistaken, because they're in trouble. Whoever that Danny DeVito quarterback was for the Giants, who's starting for the Giants? Let me see here. QB Giants. Let's see if Daniel Jones is back. All right, he's back. He's back. I think he's back for the Raiders against the Raiders here. So again, I don't expect I don't expect big things for him. Why Daniel Jones may start. It's not a certain here, though. It's not certain that he's starting. Okay, he's set to make his return. It's not certain yet, but if he does, that doesn't give him a better chance. But but anyway, he says you say like it is an improvement. I know Daniel Boone, game time decision. Daniel Boone. Hey, if Daniel Boone doesn't start, this should be a blowout. But it's the Raiders, though. We haven't scored over 21 points all season. Who's the backup? If it's DeVito, man, I can't wait. We should be licking our chops. Let me see what the backup QB for the Giants is. Backup QB. Is it okay? Tyrod Taylor's injured. So it's not Tyrod. Oh, boy, the Giants are in trouble. This is going to be ugly. Okay, so we're going with Daniel Boone. Daniel Boone versus the Raiders. Dude, we should eat this up. We should gobble this up. And it's going to give us a lot of momentum to go in with the Jets. So I give the Raiders the win here. Let me check the odds. Vegas says 1.5. So that's not much. Yes, under 37.5. I'm taking the under. Just as a guess here, I would take the under on this game. I don't see a lot of points being lit up. I don't see the scoreboard being lit up here. All right, let's get to the last couple of games here. These are the best games coming up this week. Enough of those horrible games. We have the Miami. Is this a breakthrough for the Miami Dolphins? We have the Miami Dolphins facing the Kansas City Chiefs. Both of these teams coming in, and they're world beaters. They're beating the world. Both of these teams are beating the world right now. It is time for the Miami Dolphins to make a statement. I don't think the Chiefs offensively are going to intimidate and pummel the Miami Dolphins. It is in Kansas City, so you must consider that. It's going to be windy and cold and chilly. But yes, this is the preview of the AFC Championship game right here. This could be a game. If Miami loses, they could win the AFC Championship. If Miami wins, they're going to lose the AFC Championship. I don't think. Oh, it's in Germany. Hello. Oh, it is 6:30 a.m. 6:30 a.m. It's pretty still going to be windy and cold. All right. 6:30 a.m. game on the West Coast, 9:30 on the East. This takes a little bit of steam out of it. I'm going to say, in my opinion in this game, I think if Miami wins, they're setting themselves up to lose to the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. If you're a Miami Dolphin fan, do you want to win this game at risk of losing in the playoffs? In my opinion, this is just my own professional opinion. I think whoever out of these two teams playing each other, no one of these nobody's going to win twice. So Kansas City is not going to beat Miami twice. Miami is not going to beat Kansas City twice. So who wants to win? Who wants to win the regular season in week 9 and lose in the championship? I think I would want if you're a Miami fan, I want Kansas City to win this one so we can whip them in the AFC Championship or playoffs here. I got in this game, since it's a neutral site, Patrick Mahomes was sick last week. He was lethargic. He did not want to play. If Taylor Swift is not there, we got Miami with the win. All right. If Taylor Swift shows up, and you know she's going to show up, and Patrick Mahomes has got enough food and IV in his system, and he was able to withstand the travel all the way to Germany, I got Kansas City with the win. Yeah, shake it off. No Taylor Swift this week? Oh, no. Okay. Well, Miami gets the win if there's no Taylor Swift. All right, let's see what the odds maker thinks of this game. If you're putting down a little bit of dough, it's all the way at the top. All right. Oh, tight one. 1.5 favorite to the Kansas City Chiefs. Under over 50. All right, so they're going to score right quick here. All right, here we go. Too early. Let me get some super chats here. Appreciate y'all for contributing. And then we only got 3 more games to preview. T-Mon Jr. says, this show is already off the rails for real. Raider Nation. Mr. Chill King says, I know you see what my Jets are doing, coach. Our D is relentless, and we are on a 3-game winning streak. Monday night, you are in for a real treat. Hold on for a second here. Come on, man. Wait till we get there. I'll talk about the Jets. We do have them. They must have a bye this week, if I'm not mistaken. The Jets, no, they playing the San Diego Superchargers. All right, Monday Night Football. And then they got the Raiders coming up next. We're going to tell you what the Jets are going to do here in a minute. All right, Jets fans are already losing their mind. Can you explain the bet numbers for those who don't know? Yeah, I can. I do have a Vegas handicapper that I know very well, but we'll talk about betting numbers if you want. Abby Sandy, CGA, y'all better treat my boy AP right. Giants may have to rebuild once again if we lose to the Raiders, given all y'all have going on. He says, Wink will bring the heat versus that Raiders QB rookie y'all starting. And that's why I have my concerns about the Raiders, because the last time Aiden O'Connell played, in the first quarter, he fumbled the ball 3 times. I think he recovered 2 of them, but he lost handle of the football against the Chargers. But he's a good quarterback, but it's a rook. He's a rookie, man. He's a rookie. Big Suave says, digging the hat. Who they all the way, coach. Speaking of who they, let's get to it. The Bills versus the Bengals here. This could be a good game. This could be an AFC Championship preview, depending on the draw. The Bengals are coming back, man, this year. I thought they would come back. I was betting for them, and then they struggled off. And obviously, Joe Burrow was hurt now he's bringing the back. He's bringing the pain. The Buffalo Bills are going the opposite direction. Very inconsistent football team. This is the Damar Hamlin Bowl all over again on NFL primetime. Particularly, I'm pretty sure they'll pull out Damar Hamlin and give him a big ceremony. Maybe get him out there for a couple of plays. Hopefully nothing happens to him. But I got the Bengals as the hotter team right now going into this game. And let me see what we are doing here. We got the Bengals here favored by 1.5 here on at home, and 50 under and over 50 here in this game, 50.5. So we'll talk about that here. All right. He says we about to embarrass them on prime time. I'm going Bengals here only because I just don't think the Bills, this is the last year of this Bills team. This is the last year of it. All right. If this doesn't work, you're going to see a lot of changes here. And this is the team that they double down here to make a competitor in the AFC to get to the Super Bowl. And Stephon Diggs is as good as gone. Similarly, as Devontae Adams is as good as gone for the Raiders. Okay. Stephon Diggs is good as gone. And Josh Allen is going to want to do something in this game. I think the Bills are going to get down early. Joe Burrow's going to play check down, Charlie, be consistent, move that ball up and down the field, take a slight lead in the first half, give the Bills a little bit of panic, and then the Bills are going to have to figure out how to come back. That's when you get erratic Josh Allen trying to make plays. Sometimes good happens, sometimes bad happens. So we'll have to see what happens here. All right, we're going to have to see what happens here. Yeah, I think somebody says I'm calling Diggs staying. Why? I don't know, man. I don't know why he would stick around there. I don't know why he would stick around. He might go to the Raiders next year. Somebody says Hamlin to 2-pick scripted. Yeah, I think we'll see something like that. We'll see Damar Hamlin get on the field, standing ovation. They'll stop the game. They'll get him on there. They'll throw him a ball right in the middle of the field. He'll catch it and run it back. Yeah, for sure. And it'll be hallelujah, hallelujah. Yeah, it'll be hallelujah. It's kind of like that New Orleans Saints after the Hurricane Katrina. They came back Monday night, kick return, block punt, Hail Marys. All right, yeah, we're going to see something NFL scripted for sure. It'll be absolutely crazy. All right, here we go right here. Halftime sponsored by Pfizer. Yeah, it's going to be something wild. I still got the Bengals winning this game. I think the Bengals win right here. Oh, man, it'll be crazy. Hamlin's going to block a punt on special teams. He's going to run one back on a punt return. All right, here we go. Right. Shout out to him. I hope he does. All right, game of the week. Actually, yeah, game of the week. The Dallas Cowgirls versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, Cowboy fans are going crazy right now, as typical Cowboy fans are. They think they're going to the Super Bowl. You know, it was like week 1 and 2. Who do you got in this game? Let them know. The Dirty Birds look well, we won't call them the Dirty Birds. They're the Eagles. The Eagles look unstoppable right now. They are the team to beat. The 49ers gave up the ghost. And the Eagles are the team to beat. They are the team to beat. And they're in Philadelphia. It's going to be cold. This is a rivalry game. It's going to be ugly. If this was in Dallas, I would give the thumbs up and say Dallas with the dub. All right. I would say thumbs up Dallas with the dub. It's not in Dallas, though. It's in Philadelphia. Those fans are going to be going crazy out here. And let me see if I can pull this up. Where's my spreadsheet right here? Eagles favored by 3. Eagles favored by 3. There's going to be a decent scoring game. I'm going to think here. Dak Prescott, he needs to play a flawless game. Any mistakes by Dak, that's going to be an automatic loss. I mean, Dak cannot make one mistake in this game. No fumbles, which he's prone to fumble. He cannot fumble the ball. He cannot fumble the ball. He is also prone to throw interceptions. I mean, lots of them. Lots of them. I mean, they'll be down 7-0, 14-7, 14-3, and then here it comes. Interceptions all over the field. You know, I mean, terrible interceptions too. Like he'll throw interceptions in 3 series in a row. Okay. He cannot do this, but I'm assuming he's going to do it. It's in Philadelphia. Philadelphia with the win here. They will cover. It's an easy dub. Who got the Cowboys here? I know there's a lot of Cowboy fans here. I got Dak not doing well in this game. And I wish he could do his little. All right. Prescott not that good. And then the Monday night game. For some reason, did I miss the 49ers playing? They must have a bye. Because I haven't seen them on my list here. They must have a bye. I normally know who the byes are before show kicks off. Excuse me. A game that nobody cares about here. The Jets. This is Monday night, by the way. The Jets and the Los Angeles, San Diego Superchargers here. Chargers are coming back here. They're a late performing team. And you got to always watch out for them. They will start off slow. Sometimes they start off fast and end with a thud. Sometimes they start off slow and then they make a lot of headway. The Chargers are confident. They've coming off of a win here, I think, on Sunday night. And now they have the Jets. They're going into the Jets. But the Jets also are gangbusters right now, coming off wins off of a weak schedule. They beat nobody. Don't get too excited. You beat the I know they're gonna be, oh, we beat the Eagles. All right, but 3 in a row. They beat the lowly Broncos, the lonely Giants. All right, but they've been playing good. Look at that D, man. Wait, pause. Look at that D. The thing is, I don't like the Chargers. The choking Chargers. They typically don't play well on the road. So I don't know what to say here. I don't know what to say. What does Vegas say for this game? This game is terrible. This is a terrible picking game here. Let me see what I got. Chargers favor by 3. Chargers favor by 3. And is Zach Wilson still the quarterback? I'm going Chargers. Damn, this is going to be terrible right here. This is a terrible game to pick. I cannot pick this game. Jets and Chargers. Atrocious. This could be an ugly, boring game. Okay, I'm going Jets. I'm going Jets. I'm going Jets since KT King is here. I'm going Jets since KT King is here. So we got to go ahead and put it back in. We got to put it back in the box. So now you got 4 in a row. They're coming into the Raiders here. Yeah, you're coming into the Raiders next week. So we need the Jets to win this game for us to get an opportunity to get a win against the Jets. So I'm going Jets over Chargers Monday night. Jets over Chargers Monday night. All right, that's what we got. That's what we got. All right. For people who don't know, all right, NFL betting lines, if you guys are betting people here. And of course, bet responsibly. Normally when you're looking at games here, let me just give you an idea here. I'm going to go to a site, FanDuel. And you can go to any site, and sometimes, you know what I mean? There's a little bit of juice on certain sites. Not every betting site is the same. But typically, you're going to see 3 lines right here. You're going to see these 3 lines here for any NFL game. All right. And the first line is going to be your the first line is going to be your spread, your point spread. And this is typically when Vegas picks a point spread, you can almost guarantee they know something. And most games will be pretty close to the spread. What you'll see is a minus and a number, and you'll see a plus in the number. The minus and the number is going to be equal to, it's going to indicate who the favorite is in that game. So let's just take this game. So you see minus this number, it indicates who's the favorite. The plus indicates who the underdog. Now, it does get tricky. It does get tricky in this because let's say there's a game like this. Now, if you use the spread and bet with the spread and not the money line, because this is the money line, this is the over and under. All right. So money line is basically you're basically just picking the winner. And then the number here will indicate the favorite, and the odds, or basically your return back in the money, which is a little bit more mathematically hard for me to explain. But here you're just picking who you want to win. Here you're picking who you want to win, and if you're taking the point spread. In this case, let's say you take the Bears right here at plus 8.5. If the Bears lose the game by 7 points, they have covered this gap here, what you call this spread. So you still win. Similarly, the Saints won, but they only won by 7, but you pick the Bears at 8.5. You still win. Right? So you pick the Bears at 8.5, but the Saints won, you didn't lose because they only won by 7. So you win even though you picked the Bears at 8.5. Essentially, you're saying, I don't think the Saints will beat the Bears by 8.5 points. So this is kind of what your mindset is. This is what makes betting against and for the spread interesting. Let's say you pick the Saints. I picked the Saints. Well, you got to take the points if you pick on the spread. And the Saints win by 3. You lost. You lost. All right. So you pick the Saints. They're going to win, but they won by 3. You lost. All right. So it's one of those things. Hey, I picked the winning team, but they didn't cover the spread. This does make sports gambling a little bit more difficult. And there's more points typically in the spread picking than there is if you just pick the flat out winner. All right. You pick the flat out winner and say, hey, I think the Saints are going to win. Well, you're not going to make much money back potentially. You might not make much money back just picking the winner because it's almost easy to pick the winner and the loser. But can you pick them against the spread? That's where the true strategy comes from. And somebody says, so basically the house never loses. And when you have a spread like this, 8.5, they're basically saying there's going to be a blowout. You're going to be a blowout. He says you'll win 40 cents on $1. Yeah, I mean, that's not much money to be made when you're just picking winners and losers in here. So here we go right here. You want to pick against the spread in order to get you a little bit more value. And this is why you'll see minus 110, just picking against and for the spread. Over here, you ain't going to get much here. And over here is another strategic way to bet because you don't want to pick the winner or the loser. You're like, I don't want to pick the winner or the loser. I don't know which one of these teams are going to win or lose. I don't want to pick against the spread because the Bears could get blown out. All right. And I picked the Bears to cover. In essence, let's say you pick the Bears right here and the Bears lose by 7, you win the bet, but the Bears lose by 30, you lost. All right. So it's a little tough. The over under gives you another category of over under. So what they're saying is the point total in the game is going to equal is going to be under this or over this. So both teams score combined is going to be greater or less than. This is a tough one. This gets you sweating. All right. This is one that gets you sweating because this makes the game more interesting. Because even if it's a blowout, you can still cover. You can still win or lose. Even if the game's tight, you can still win or lose. These games give you nightmares. Because let's say the game is just over under 41. You say, I'm going to pick the under 41. Both teams combined are going to score under 41. But the game is 36-3 with 10 minutes to go. 36-3. So that's a combined of 38. Let me give you another scenario. So it's 37-3. It's 37-3. And the combined score is 40. But you got 10 minutes to go. You got 10 minutes to go. And you're sitting there like, please no one score. And yes, it includes overtime. So you're watching the game. It's a blowout, but there's time on the clock. You pick the under. And you're watching like, holy shit. You're like, please nobody score. So for 10 minutes of the game, You don't want anybody to score. Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare when you bet over and unders. If you pick over and the game's 37-3, you're going, please somebody score. All right. And it's a blowout. So it keeps you watching the game. And this is what NFL, by the way, this is why the NFL is successful. If betting didn't exist in the NFL, nobody would watch it. And fantasy football is the second reason why the NFL is successful, because it keeps people watching games and interested, even if your team sucks, or because you're going, I have a fantasy team. I have a player that is on the Bears, or I have the Bears defense. So people will watch the Bears, even though you're not a fan of the Bears. People are going to watch this game because you go, I got the over or the under. So over and under game, it can be a little tricky, right? It can be. And the tricky part is if I pick the over, the best part of it is if I pick the over and at halftime, they've already met the over. It's right here, over 41. And at halftime, it's 21-20. All right. I know they're going to score again, or it's 21-21 at halftime. I won. I got the over. If I pick the under and it's 21-21 at halftime, I can just go home. I lost. All right. You don't have to watch the rest of the game. And that typically can happen. So they do have other bets, which are called, they're called, why is this slipping my mind? Prop bets. So they do have other bets that are prop bets. And if you're really, really a gambler, which again, bet responsibly, the prop bets are things you can do to actually get money. So you'll say, who's going to score the first touchdown? And you can place a bet before the game starts and place a bet on the player. And here it gives you your point totals. You can win a lot of money on prop bets, but you have to be kind of, I would not do this if you're just taking a shot in the dark. But you have prop bets that have alternative spreads. You can buy back points. You can say who's going to score 2 touchdowns. You're going to score 2 touchdowns in a game. You're throwing a lot of money away. You throw a lot of money away when you do this, because if you don't hit, you just threw away the money. If you do hit, you win back lots of money. Who's going to have over 100 yards, over and under yards? All right, this guy's going to have over 49 yards or under 49 yards. You got to be a gambler to do this. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. If you're watching the game and you can bet live action, which not a lot of apps will let you bet live action, and you're watching the game, and the best thing about prop bets, let me just give you this right quick. The best thing about prop bets is that the Vegas can't make adjustments that fast on prop bets. So you show up at halftime. All right. They can make adjustments on spreads, but they can't make adjustments on props. So not as fast. So here you go. You got Ezekiel Elliott, and you say he's going to rush over 32 yards for the New England Patriots. You bet he's going to rush over 32 yards. You show up at halftime, and you can bet live action, and he has 29 yards at halftime. Then you say, wait a minute, what is the likelihood that he's not going to get 5 more yards? He's probably going to get 5 more yards, but Vegas is not going to continuously update these fast enough to not lose money. So you can live bet and say, Zeke is going to get 5 more yards, and hope he's not injured. Hope he doesn't have diarrhea. Hope he comes out second half. Hopefully they run the ball early. You can win on this prop bet. Now, let me just tell you, as a thing, as a practice, I don't mess around with this, but you can. Similarly, if you're watching a basketball game and they say this player, Draymond Green, is going to get 10 rebounds tonight. That's the prop bet. Over under 8 rebounds. You show up at halftime and he has 7 rebounds. All right. You go on your app and it says over under 8. It's halftime. He got 7 rebounds. You're like, there's good money that he's going to get another rebound, at least 2. So you can get even at 1 rebound, 2 rebounds, you win. Yeah, diarrhea. Players be getting diarrhea, don't come back out. So betting does get a lot. There's a lot of people that do this. And if you put $20, but there could be a chance that the player doesn't come back out at halftime, or it's a blowout at halftime, or they don't feel like playing. Now, here's the thing. Somebody said you can see why this can be easy to manipulate. If you get involved in any sports betting, and I'll bring my sports betting, I'm going to bring my sports betting guy on the show. If you get involved, what you will find out is these games are very close. And some teams know where the money is leaning, just like boxing. Boxer at the beginning of the fight, the casino, the house, the boxers, everybody knows the money is over on this fighter. All the money's over here. So in essence, if that fighter wins, everybody loses. The house loses, the casino loses. So there is indication that there could be manipulation. And before the fight, they say, hey, all the money's over here. We need you to take this L. We need you to take this dive. Similarly, if people know the over and under, which I'm of the opinion that everybody knows. The coaches know, the players know, and all of that. Everybody knows what the over under is, and they know what the spread is. You will see, especially in the NBA, you will see teams do weird things in the last 2 minutes. Okay. Yep. The referees know the over under. The referees know. All right. And they did have a referee get caught doing this. And I'm pretty sure he was not the only one. So let's just say you're watching the NBA game and the over under is 225 points. And the score is roughly close to that. And it's 215 to 207. You're going to see turnovers. You're going to see turnovers, injuries, point guards throwing the ball over the place. You're going to see people checking the game, throwing the ball, hitting threes like crazy. They're going to come in just putting up points. You're going to see an 8-9 point swing in about 35 seconds. You're going to be like, what the fuck are they doing? Because you got the under and you're like, please don't score 6 more points. You don't want them to score 6 more points. Here they come. The bench players check in. I'm talking about player number 11, 12, and 13. And they come out and they playing like they playing for the championship. They run up and down the floor, bucket, 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 bucket. You like, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Star players start checking in the game at the end. And that's, to me, just being involved. Yeah, Tim Donaghy. Being involved in this as much as I've been involved in it, I'll be watching people do some crazy ass shit. He said, hey, parlay get clapped. Parlay get clapped just like that on some weird 1.5 minute stretch at the end of a basketball game. And you're just like, in my opinion is they know. They know. People in the stands know. You will see people cheering for the other team, jumping for joy at the end of a game. Somebody hit a buzzer beater that doesn't mean anything. Some player shoots a 3 at the end of the game. Doesn't mean anything. And people jumping up and down. You just like, what the heck? So it makes sports interesting, but it makes you hate teams and players. It makes you hate teams and players because you're like, why would they do that? They know, and you're going, they know what they're doing. Yep. Why is Curry still in the game? Warriors getting blown out. Like, we got to cover that spread. And so that makes it easy. It makes it manipulatable. All right. And so this is called point shaving. If you don't want to know, if you do want to know, it's called point shaving. So there have been cases, headache at Arizona State basketball, where players are in the hip pocket of campus bookies, the mob, and so forth, and they are manipulating games on purpose and getting paid for it. Even if they don't win, and they cover spreads. So you got a team, and you can say, hey, tonight, I want you to make sure you don't lose by more than 8. Make sure you don't lose by more than 3. All right, you're the Commanders. Hey, man, if you lose, but you're a quarterback, you're a player, Make sure you don't lose more. Yeah, sports agents, don't lose more than X. Kyler, well, listen, I'm not going to name names, but you've seen this happen where teams suck, but the player's still playing. Let's just take, for example, Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Their prime position to cover spreads. Their prime position to shade points. A team like the Arizona Cardinals are in prime position to shade points. And the reason why is you're almost guaranteed they're going to lose the game. You're almost guaranteed they're going to lose. You know they're tanking. However, they could play the good, the bad guy, because all they got to do is cover or not cover. And that keeps the Cardinals interested. And last week, that's exactly what they did. They were beating the Ravens, so they covered. This is all alleged. I'm not saying they're doing this. But they're a team that could be primed to be playing good with the point spread, because they're going to lose. But if they rally at the end and cover, it's all alleged. Yeah. Shout out to Big Suave says, parlay your 5 to 8 most confident picks, then back it up with the round robin picks. He says, been betting over a decade, and this has worked best. Parlay your 5 to 8 picks. How do you feel about parlays? I'm not a big parlay guy, but you can make a lot of money parlaying. It only takes one to bust. So that's one of the things about a parlay, is that you need a lot of luck. I'm of the belief you need a lot of luck, a lot more luck than just betting against the spread. But people do like the parlays. I mean, because your ability to make a lot of money is. Somebody says, explain that. Parlay your most confident 5 to 8 picks. Parlay them, then back them up with a round robin picks. All right, here we go. The thing about parlays that I don't like is, let's say you parlay 3 to 5 picks. People don't know what a parlay is, and I'm explaining gambling here. Say you're parlaying picks. Basically, what you do is you have a greater chance of winning a lot of money if all of your games go right. The thing is, one game goes wrong, your whole parlay is done, and you lose all your money. Whereas if you lose one game, you only lost money on that game. And if you're parlaying big money, you're going to win thousands of dollars, right? So, you're grouping the bets. So I got 5 games. So you could parlay any games together. You can parlay NHL, NBA, and NFL all in one day. And you bet 25, you can win 1,000. You bet 500, you can win 3,000. You bet 1,000, you can win 6,000. Just depends. So that's why people parlay. And you bet $20, you could be up in $100 that fast, like in a parlay. And then the more games you have, the more money you would win. But the thing is, game 1 on your parlay, if you lose, game 1, and you're just picking a winner, no spreads, no any of that. So you take the spreads out, you take the over and under out, and the money line. Essentially, you're just picking the winner. And you can win back some great money on a parlay. Just as a point of reference, I've never won one, so I'm not that big of a guy that will sell you on it. He says, now I see why Ninja's going crazy at the bars. Yep. I'm going to tell you, sports, the reason why sports are popular is not because of fans. Fans help. But the only reason sports are as popular as they are is because of gambling. The only reason. If it wasn't for gambling, there would be nobody really interested in games. All right, you'd be interested in when your team plays. Let's see what the Clippers are doing. And then you just, the Clippers lost, the Clippers won. That's it. But when you're looking at the interest in the sports and why every state is opening up gambling, it's because sports betting and play, this is the biggest thing going. It's the biggest thing going. And even the best, it always been that way. Kentucky Derby. Yeah, people ain't watching the Kentucky Derby to see what the horses are doing. Oh, look at these horses racing. People watch the Kentucky Derby because of betting, right? That's why people are interested in stuff. This is why they show certain games and not. Yeah. So, but shout out to Big Suave with his betting strategy. I appreciate that. Everybody had, oh, by the way, everybody has a strategy. I'm going to bring on my handicapper here. Not today, but I'm going to bring him on to explain some things. He's well known in Vegas. He's been betting for like 30 years. He actually worked under one of a big time bettor here. And all of that stuff. And I will tell you to bet responsibly, but he can explain these things way more than I can. And there's a strategy and tactic that everybody uses. Yeah. All right. Shout out to Henry Resilient. Uncut Jim's movie. He says he turned 40K into 600K on parlays. On parlays. Yeah, man. Parlays is where the money is. If you just like, I'm uncomfortable with parlays. Every time I do it, every time I parlay, one goofy game, right? I had a parlay. I'm looking at $6,000. All right. I had a parlay. I'm looking at $6,000. And the Bears and the Packers, remember, the Bears and the Packers, I think I had them under whatever. I can't remember. And when you bet, you got to forget games. You got to forget it. Your best bettors just forget it and move on. Sometimes if you're not willing to move on from games, don't bet. I had the Packers and Bears under. In the third quarter, they're way under. They're 17. I think the under was like 40. In the third quarter, they got 17. I'm cinched. Then all I needed was the Cowboys to beat somebody, and the Cowboys blew them out. I knew the Cowboys was going to win, but I need the Packers and Bears under 40. They're 10-17 at third quarter. Entering in the fourth, they both scored 24 points in the fourth quarter. Combined. I mean, sitting there like, what are y'all doing? And then you know what will happen is a team will score a touchdown. Because you're looking at the clock. I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, okay, the clock's winding down here. And then I'm like, okay, the Bears scored. Okay, they're at 24. And then what will happen is the Packers will muff a punt. They'll muff the kickoff. They'll go 3 and out. They'll throw a pick 6. And all of a sudden, it's a quick 14. And you're like, what the? And you're looking at the score like, what? Bruh, what happened? Why did they score 14 points in 35 seconds? How did they score 14 in 35 seconds? Because you're not watching the game. You're just looking at the scoreboard, the ticker. You're looking at the ticker. You're like, because what will happen is they drove the field, scored, and then a pick 6 score. And so now you're like, bruh. You're like, bruh. It's the end of the game scenarios where all of a sudden they want to play football and then everybody want to drive back. A football game in a minute and a half can put up 21 points. In a minute and a half can put up 21 points. Why? Because they're trying to win. So now all of a sudden I'm down 12 and it looks like the game is over. Just quit. But here we go. Touchdown. Boom. Okay, we cut the game to 5. Here they come the back way. Boom. They back up 12. Here they back up 7. And it's a minute and 30 seconds. You just like, bro, this is crazy, bro. Like, this is despicable. And don't let them go into overtime. Because now you covered your under, all right? Or you got your point, and then all of a sudden they got into overtime. But you got to win by 8. You got to win by 8. Hockey generally is a point and a half. If you look up hockey spreads, most games are going to be a point and a half. Essentially, if you're betting spreads, every hockey game is going to be a point and a half. And basically, you got to win by 2 to even win. All right. So, which is tough because what'll happen is you're up 1 and you're hoping they pull the goalie, right? You're up 1 and you're hoping the other team pulls the goalie in order to get the second score. If they don't pull the goalie, you're not going to get that second score. You're not going to get that 2 points. And so you're looking at things very weirdly. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things. He says, do you talk about hockey players? Oh, the hockey player that got deleted. I'll be missing the stories, really. Yeah. I'm missing the stories. I need to get more on my grind. Yeah, the hockey player that died. I haven't even watched the full video, but the funny thing was, I was at the VGK game, and I was just thinking because I've seen a player get sliced, their throat sliced on the ice. I seen a player. So the game that week, I was at a VGK game, and I just thought about a player getting their throat slashed, and it happened. That was sad, and that could happen at any point. But I think that was intentional. And you bleed out on the ice. Ugh. Yeah, I think they need to wear neck guards because you got your hockey I call it a stick. All right. It's shaved a lot too. It's shaved. Your skates are shaved. That's a big old fear, man. That's a big fear. Everything's pretty sharp because you gotta be on the ice. That can happen at any time, man. So you gotta be careful playing hockey. I seen the video. I haven't even looked at it because I don't even want to look at it. Anyway, yeah, the skates are hella sharp. Your stick is gonna be sharp at the bottom because you got to slide it across the ice. Nah, I don't even want to do it. Sad, sad case. All right, man. Shout out to y'all. Hey, man, we gonna get out of here. Good luck with your NFL picks. Good luck with your NFL teams. Gamble responsibly. And if you don't have extra money and you're looking to make if you're looking to make rent, do not gamble. Shout out to y'all and peace. Let's get the outro music going. Yeah, there we go.